Today, I have 3 rules of 3. If you're a comedy performer, you're going to like these. Hang tight. My name is Brian Foley from Valley Variety in a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. You can find me here on YouTube. You can also find me at vvphx.com. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok at Valley_Variety. Let's get started. The number 3 is a great number for comedians. People very often say, hey, if you do things 3 times, it'll be funny. Think about that. Really, just give that some critical thought for just a second. If it's not funny, it's not going to be funny once, twice, 3 times, 11 times. Doesn't matter, right? The original rule of 3 in comedy is ultimately about setting up and then shattering expectations. So, it's like a setup punchline structure, right? In a joke, you have a setup which misdirects away from the punchline, and then you have a punchline that shatters the expectations that have been built in the audience's mind. Rule of 3 works the same way. If you do something once, you've done it once. If you do the exact same thing again, that means that you have repeated it, and therefore you are creating a pattern. You're developing a pattern. And with that pattern comes expectations, right? So as soon as you start the same thing the 3rd time, you don't do it exactly the same way, right? You start to change it in a way, hopefully in a way that can build some comedy, can make your audience laugh. And by doing so, not only are you making your audience laugh, you're shattering their expectations that have come along with the pattern so that hopefully that can boost the laughter. It's a comedic technique, right? But that doesn't mean that you can just change it in any way. It means that you actually need to come up with something funny. That is the classic rule of 3. Here are 2 more that were developed with me, but most importantly, with my old partner, Matthew Duncan, who's really, really smart about some of these things. And I'm going to share, with his permission, some of his wonderful ideas. There are 2 more rules of 3. So I worked with this gentleman named Matthew Duncan for 7 or 8 years. There he is, right here. He's got a clown nose on, and he's just about to ring a bell, a desk bell, like a front desk hotel bell that's sitting on my head. And when it came time to put our shows together, he gave it a lot of thought. And here are some things that he came up with, which I think are great. When it came time to choose material, he gave it this rubric of it had to meet at least 2 of these 3 criteria. It had to be highly skilled, completely original, and or side-splittingly funny. So, if something was really easy to the point that anybody from the audience could just get up and do it, it had to be original and it had to be really funny. That was the only way we could justify that. However, if it wasn't completely original, it had to be skilled to enough of a degree that we had to put in some significant hours, weeks, months, years of work to develop those skills. For example, a juggling trick, maybe. Maybe we've seen somebody else do a juggling trick and we wanted to incorporate that particular skill into our routine. Well, is it completely original? No. Did we find a way to make it funny? If we could, and we put in the work to learn it, then for us, it was acceptable. So meeting 2 out of those 3 criteria were very, very important. Here's the last one today, your 3rd rule of 3. And this is something that I still use in my shows. And actually, as I was putting this video together, I thought through the shows that I'm doing these days, and I find that I was so heavily influenced by working with this guy. That's me over there, but I was working with this guy for so long, it's actually seeped into my bones, and I love it, right? So here's the last rule of 3. My show, first off, needs to be funny. That's what I'm going for. I'm going for knocking things over. I guess I'm excited. I'm really going for comedy. I'm going for funny. I'm going for laughs. I have no control over whether the audience laughs or not. All I can do is try my best. I can do what I think is funny and what has been proven to be funny for my audiences. But I can't guarantee they're going to laugh. So if they're not laughing, The second layer of my show is skill. I need to be doing something interesting. I need to be doing something that is fascinating to watch in its own right, even if it weren't funny. Right? So that's why I really choreograph every moment. That's why there's no extraneous movement in my shows. I do what I'm there to do, and it's going to be entertaining whether you're laughing or not. Even if they don't like that, at least there's going to be some really good music to listen to. And this is the key. I was the Associate Artistic Director of the World Clown Festival in China for a number of years, which meant that everybody sent their music to me, and then I forwarded their music to wherever it needed to go. And some people had some fantastic music, and other people had music that every time it came on, everybody at the festival would just go, oh, man. Yes, and I use lots of silly music in my videos, and that's not always the same music I use in my show. I try and use music in my show that's good music, that people with good taste will recognize as being good music, played well by trained musicians. All right, so anyway, the first layer is funny, second layer is skill and interest, and the third layer is good music. I think that's my cue to be done for the day. But those are 3 rules of 3. I hope they're useful and helpful to you. Take care. Bye.